Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Ladner. I'm president of Pennsylvania American Water. Really appreciate you taking the time to be here. We're excited to host you here at the Exeter Wastewater Treatment Plant. I want to begin by recognizing our very distinguished guest, Secretary, Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, Richard Negrin. And while I say distinguished, I have to maybe apologize a little bit. You know, we did invite you to a sewer wastewater treatment plant, depending on the air direction here, the wind. But we're really excited you're here. And when you stop and think about the criticality for our environment here in Pennsylvania, wastewater plays a big role. And we're excited to kind of showcase a lot of the improvements that we've made that were needed here at the Exeter Wastewater Treatment Plant. And our story at Pennsylvania American Water with this community goes back over 20 years in terms of providing water service in this area, the lower Alsace and surrounding communities. And then specifically with wastewater, that journey started in 2019-2018 timeframe. And between both of those services, we provide clean, safe wastewater to nearly 63,000 residents within Berks community. So our relationship here in terms of wastewater really goes back to the 2018 timeframe. And to be honest, there were challenges with this system in terms of the collection, being able to handle storm events, this treatment facility, having the infrastructure, the pumps to really work and make sure that environmental compliance was the priority and reliable service. And there was an event back in 2018 that was really significant that I think got the Exeter Township supervisor's attention, where the influent pumps broke down and there weren't notifications in a timely manner, and the result was significant. Over 4 million gallons of raw sewage was discharged into the Schuylkill River. And you stop and think about that, we've got to work so that that never happens again, and that's one of our missions at Pennsylvania American Water. And so the town agreed that they wanted to get out of this business, and Pennsylvania American Water was the solution provider. So we purchased the system in 2019. The town took those proceeds, $93 million, and really put it back into the community through things like tax exemptions, paying down their pension funds, and eliminating wastewater debt. And then it was our turn to work with the Secretary's organization, DEP, on a path to make sure that day never happens again where that raw sewage was discharged. And through a consent order, we created a plan. We're still working the plan, things like a 3-year study on stormwater flow. We've invested over $20 million into this system. And we know that we're going to be investing over $46 million more over the next 5 years. So you stop and think about that, $66 million to make sure things like that raw sewage dump event never happens again. But the investment just isn't in the system, it's also in the community. That's something that we really pride ourselves on at PA American. And we've invested over $14 million here locally in Berks County with partners within the community. Things like lab testing, safety supplies, engineering services. We really try and be a citizen where we serve. Our team members, they live in this community. We want to make sure we're partners. With all that investment, we remain ever diligent and conscious of costs to our customers. We know that's a challenge. We're vigilant on that. I'm really proud of the fact that Pennsylvania American Water, we've got some of the longest running customer assistance programs in the entire country when it comes to water utilities. And we've actually got low income rate system that we've got a rate design where based on your income level, you're eligible for discounts on your monthly bill anywhere from $22 up to $80, and that's based on your income level. And here in Berks County, we've got over 650 members of the community that are signed up for that. In addition to that low rate program, we've got grants, payment arrangement, budget billing, different programs to make sure we're meeting our customers where they are. With all this investment talk and infrastructure that we've been doing, we were able to take a tour earlier with the Secretary and his team, and we really appreciate staff members that are here and took the time to allow us an opportunity to kind of bring awareness to the investment that we do. I'd like to invite the Secretary up to make some remarks.
Awesome. That train was my fault. I'm sure you heard. Norfolk Southern follows me everywhere I go. It's
East Palestine.
That's exactly right. But thank you so much, Justin. Really impressive what you guys are doing. I want to
talk specifically about a couple of really important things. We really talk about really overall this partnership. It's been an extraordinary partnership for us. We really appreciate. Thank you, but you need to stop hiring people from DEP at some point because I need a team to do a great job. But you've got amazing people here, including Chris Abruzzo, who's here. Chris, everybody who knows a lot of the pressure of what it's like to sit in my chair, and I really appreciate his friendship. I was telling folks earlier, I think Chris was the first person I met with and had dinner with when I took this job in Harrisburg, and listening to his insight, but he's been a good friend. But thank you, Justin, for the great job you're doing. I think I said it 3 or 4 times today when your folks were giving us the tour, that boy, you can tell they love their jobs. They are water nerds, right? And I mean that in the best possible way. Especially Jen with her bugs. Like I've never met somebody who loves bugs that much. Like Jen, that was an extraordinary presentation. Thank you so much for that. I mean, look, Pennsylvania is different, and you look at the history of Exeter. It's really a story of redemption, right? The issues of when I looked at the compliance history and what you guys have been able to accomplish in the last several years, it's very extraordinary in partnership with DEP. But the history before that wasn't very good, and you guys came in, made significant investments, not just the $93 million that you injected into this community by taking over, but all the investments that you're making, that we saw some of which today are really a credit to your commitment to best practices and where we're going. We had this conversation about how the world has kind of changed for those of us who are either in the regulatory clean energy piece or the utility piece, and you guys are obviously an incredibly important utility on how we look at things and need to adapt in light of the present circumstances. In my office, I write on the glass in my office because I have a lot of glass in my office, and my guys know I use it as a whiteboard. They joke that I'm the guy in a beautiful mind that is eventually going to go crazy at the end, but I write on a regular basis, and one of the things I have written across the top is things are changing at DEP, and the reason I have that is because things are changing out here. It's changing for you, it's changing for us. Pennsylvania is different. We have something called, and Chris knows this really well, Article 1, Section 27. A lot of folks don't know about it. I'm talking about it everywhere I go because it makes a huge difference. And that's a constitutional amendment here in 1971 that called the Environmental Rights Amendment that gives all Pennsylvania citizens the right to clean air, pure water, not just clean water. It says pure water, and the best natural use of our natural resources. And that those resources are the common property of all the people of Pennsylvania. You guys know that when our founding fathers said we the people back in Philadelphia, where I came from, didn't mean everybody. They got it right in 1971 here with the Environmental Rights Amendment. Our resources are the property of all the people, and that we, as trustees, as stewards of that environment, are supposed to make sure that it's there for the common benefit of all the people. You guys are a part of that. You guys are one of the trustees that we depend on to make sure that those constitutional rights, we're telling that story, Anwar's here, we're developing a plan to tell our young kids that story, we're developing a children's book to tell that story, because we need to get the word out on people understanding and knowing their rights here in this community and across Pennsylvania. So really important to us, but that's who we are, and we're one of 3 states in the entire country that has one of those amendments, and we were the first one back in 1971. The gentleman who drafted that, Franklin Perry, I don't know if you saw Chris, held the Bible for me a few weeks ago when I was sworn in. And I've got, if you go on my social media, you can see the pictures of Franklin and the look on his face and the pride about something he accomplished just 50 years ago, leading the nation on that amendment, what he did. And here's the story and why I talk about it so much, not just about knowing our rights, but we're talking about partnership today. We're talking about the challenges that we're facing. I don't see the environment as a partisan issue. I don't think public safety is a partisan issue. I don't think clean water is a partisan issue. They passed that amendment in 1971 unanimously. Not one negative vote in both houses. They passed it because the constitutional amendment has to go through twice through both houses without getting a no vote. It was unanimous. Republicans, Democrats coming together to pass an environmental rights amendment. That's the kind of leadership that we need from folks in Harrisburg. That's that leadership that I think you see Governor Shapiro really pushing forward, right? Like this budget, bringing people together, both sides of the aisle, to have a conversation. When you look at yesterday, I don't know if a lot of folks know this because I'm a little bit of an environmental nerd, was the 1-year anniversary of the IRA, the bipartisan, Inflation Reduction Act, which is really a climate bill, right? Half of it is really geared towards pushing for the kind of climate improvements. That's the kind of bipartisan support we need if we're going to tackle the challenges that we're seeing from a climate perspective. Let me talk about that a little bit because it's really important, and folks need to understand and hear it from the DEP Secretary. We have never had the kind of climate impacts in Pennsylvania that we're having today. Just a few months ago, we were talking about the air quality challenges that I've had. We have never had 4 bad air quality days, red, statewide, all across. We had bad air quality days in cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, obviously, but never have we had the entire state under a red alert, an orange alert. We even hit pockets of purple. For the first time ever that week, we hit maroon. There's no color higher than maroon. When you're maroon, you're telling people, stay indoors. It's not safe to be outside. And that's never happened in Pennsylvania, not only at that level, but 4 days in a row. 3 weeks later, it happened again. This time for 3 days, statewide, same exact thing. And here's the thing, everybody points to the Canadian wildfires. It's not just Canadian wildfires. We see what's happening in Hawaii, right? There's still, literally hundreds of people are dead, and there's 1,000 people unaccounted for. But here's the thing, no one's writing about this. Pennsylvania, we have a rolling average of wildfires in excess of 600 on an annual basis. A rolling average of 643 wildfires in Pennsylvania. This year, that number's at 1,400 at the halfway mark. We've got wildfires raging across Pennsylvania right now. No one's talking about that, and that's very, very real. And it's not just about these tornado warnings that we're getting now that we've never gotten before in strange places. We've all seen that. It's also about the fact that you can have, we're talking about water today, you can have 3 months of drought, right? I put out a number of drought advisories and then get 3 months worth of rain in about 2 days, right? So it's the worst of both of those worlds, where we go from drought to flash flooding almost immediately. And those extreme flooding scenarios, I mean, look, right here in Bucks County, right, that family, the Sealer family, who lost those 2 children. I've lost a child to illness. My 5-year-old daughter, Abigail, to respiratory issues. Like, I can't imagine what that was like to have your children ripped out of your hands and your arms. And when you look at that, the reason I talk about it so much is because those are climate deaths. Like, that family did everything we asked people to do around flash flooding scenarios. There wasn't enough time for a flash flood warning to come over their phones. It happened so quickly and so fast and so violently that it washed away their family. But they didn't drive into water, they didn't ignore signs, they didn't ignore first responders. They were exactly where they were supposed to be. They were just living their lives as a family, and they were hit by a wall of water that came down from that creek that overflowed because of the amount of rain they had. Those are climate deaths here in Pennsylvania that are happening right now. That's where we are. This is sort of the new normal. And Justin and I were talking about that you guys are seeing the impact here as a result of those increased weather events and what that means and how you have to adapt, and we're adapting as well. But that's why days like today are so important, because what you're doing to keep our rivers and our streams clean, what these bugs are doing to help fight the fight on our side is really critical. I'm going to close just by saying this. I've heard an expert say that the last 100 years was really about oil. The last 100 years was about who had it, who could get it, and who could profit from it. The next 100 years is going to be about water. Who has it, who needs it, who can use it, and who's going to profit from it, right? Clean, reliable, safe drinking water, clean, reliable, safe streams, rivers. This impact is what we're going to be talking about the next 100 years. You guys are at ground zero of that struggle. I believe water security is national security. We're not thinking about it that way yet. We're going to get there really quickly. We're going to see it globally first, but we're going to feel that here at home. I think water security is Pennsylvania security. I think water security is personal security for all of us. This is what we're going to be talking about in the future. This is what climate change looks like. So thank you so much for your partnership. This is just the beginning for us together working across to make a difference here. And really it's going to take all of us, not just regulators, not just companies, great companies like you, but all of our citizens and all of your families and all of our folks making a difference around this space to make sure that we can handle these issues going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary, and I appreciate the partnership and that context that you provided around the charge that you have in your role. We're here to meet that equally as a water and wastewater provider. Before I wrap up, I have got to, and this is the best part, thank and recognize a lot of our team members that do just what the Secretary described in terms of making sure that this community receives clean, safe water and also wastewater treatment services. So I want to begin with Dave Seltzer and his team. He's responsible for this plant. Dave's been here over nearly 15 years. He's seen kind of the before, he's seen the after, and he's been here all along the way and been a tremendous partner for us, and we really appreciate all that they've done to accommodate us today. And then we talked a lot about investment, and that happens through our engineering team. We've got Craig, Darius back here, and on Jerry's team, and they're making sure that 20 million that we've already done and that 46 that's coming is done in the right way and prioritizing the best interest of everybody. And then the Secretary mentioned Jen and our water quality team, and they're our wastewater experts, and they love what they do. So Jen and Kristen May, I really appreciate all that you do. And then today, these events are not easy to pull off, and I really want to thank Kara Ron, our external affairs lead, and she had some help from Rachel Friedman and Trudy Heffelfinger to make sure that this went off without a hitch, and we know how much support is required, and I really appreciate it. And then I'll just kind of in sum close out with, the Secretary talked about the Environmental Rights Amendment. Over 50 years ago, half a century, the foundational guidance there. It's the same now, 50 years later. Every Pennsylvanian deserves clean, safe water, reliable water and wastewater treatment services, so that when they turn that tap on or they get in the shower, they can trust that water is safe. They can trust that wastewater that's being treated at a plant like this, that's getting discharged in that Schuylkill River, is protecting their resources, their streams, their creeks, so that they can fish and really enjoy it. And we're here to rise to that challenge anywhere we provide service. And I'll close with saying I'm humbled and grateful that this team that I just kind of walked through, they do just that in Berks County. And that's our commitment, and we honor that every day. Really appreciate everybody's time today and for coming out.